Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV. This time I actually wanted to talk to you guys about the prospect of the open world of 14 and what you could do to reinvigorate it for new players and veterans alike. It's no lie that there are only a select few things to go back to many of the low-level zones at all 4, other than leveling alt jobs, fates which are generally pointless unless involve a quest or seasonal event, or for hunt ranks. But even then, a lot of these are overlooked by the majority of the general populace of the game, usually spending most of their time in Rauga's Reach or in instance content. Recently, during the Casually Hardcore podcast with Brian from Work to Game and Hunter from Hunting for Games, we talked about how Final Fantasy XI could be used as a learning tool for Final Fantasy XIV. And whilst 14 has already learnt an absolute ton from 11, especially in ease of use and the new player experience, the biggest thing myself and Hunter came back to was the open world, and how in 11 it was the primary focus for the most part. Travel around the world was more punishing prior to being able to teleport everywhere, so you would walk past areas with rare monsters to report to the community and defeat, resulting in rewards such as gear. It would even mean sometimes catching a ferry and physically waiting for the ferry to cross the sea to its destination. You could even encounter a boss on the top of the ferry's decks. The point is that the world was large and made to feel large as a result of the game's limitations and design choice. 14 has an enormous world if you think about it, but it feels quite small after a while. There's really no challenge to get to places, and the world is less dangerous as a design decision. So what could you do in 14 to make the world itself more alive? If you create a character now and run through the areas of the Twelveswood or Fanalan, you might see the odd person here and there, along with several bots. But for the most part, you're left feeling that the process of leveling in these open areas is quite hollow. So my idea on the podcast was perhaps a little ridiculous, I'll admit, but not completely without some merit or some idea. What if you could find a way to make low-level content useful for level 70 players, or whatever the cap will be in the various expansion they could do this in? If you made it so that instead of Eureka, you had a way to level up your relic weapon, for example, or acquire glamour, minions, or mounts. Simply by clicking a level sync button in the open world, it would scale you to the maximum level fate in that zone, for example. Introduce open world notorious monsters that scale to your level, make it so that a level 8 in Bent Branch Meadows is just another player in the zone. Give him a chance to join in and interact with other players regardless of level. Give that person glamour pieces even, as well as experience. One of the fondest memories of my World of Warcraft experience was acquiring gear. I remember getting the Staff of Infinite Mysteries from Karazhan. That was my first epic when I started in the Burning Crusade expansion. It may have been useless after that raid, and it certainly wasn't the best weapon for my warlock at the time, but I kept it regardless, as I associated that piece of gear with the start of my proper Warcraft experience, and just looking at the item in the bank would always remind me of the people that used to play games with me. Now obviously that was from a level capped raid. If you look at 14, there's obviously attachment with pieces like that, but for the most part it'll take you over 80 hours of content to blast through to get to that point. Instead of making it incentivized to boost your character up on the Mog Station to play with your friend, why not simply reward them for taking the time? Give people distractions, ways of looking cool, unique minions and mounts to work towards by doing certain things in certain zones. Either way, there has to be a point where Square Enix are going to have to look back on their work and decide there has to be something to do about the streamlining of both the leveling experience for new players and give other people a reason to get back into the older parts of the game again. At least with a level sync system, whatever zone you put it in, it'll be a lot less time and monetarily consuming than redesigning a whole zone like Warcraft did. Either way, what would you do to make both the old zones alive again, and what you would also do to make new players' experiences a better one, worth sticking through until the endgame 4. Thank you kindly for watching, and I'll see you all next time.